Lemon Amiga presents a Playguide video review. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Once again, welcome to another Lemon Amiga Playguide and review. This time we'll be checking out Starblade. This was developed by Silmarils and published by Palace Software in 1990. The game begins with this introduction picture and some very nice music as well. And this was requested and sponsored by David Sapphire. See, this introduction differs slightly from the cover art, which was obviously inspired by certain Psygnosis games and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Let's press fire, let's check this game out. At the start of the game, you'll find yourself in a spaceship. What can you do? Well, you can do lots and lots of things in a spaceship, and this has lots and lots of rooms. Let's check this one out. What do we find? A computer, and we can check out the state of our ship from here, the state of the motors, and any repairs that need doing, and you can see stock inventory of spare parts as well. And if you're playing this game to completion, hopefully that will come in handy. But for now, you can see a main console in front of us, and you can see various side rooms that we can explore. Let's take the elevator down to the second level, where we'll find our escape ship, known as the Altar. We will automatically go into that and take off. At the very start of the game, around this point, it will ask us to enter a password, and that's the first and the last password that's been cracked on this WHD load that I'm playing at the moment. And I'm playing this with the 030 as usual, so hopefully there'll be no lags involved with this game. You can see I have a lightsaber, so let's put that in our hand, and you can also see I've picked up a grenade as well, so we don't really want to use that grenade, so by selecting that lightsaber we can now have that in our hand and hopefully attack some enemies. On this very first planet, the enemies aren't difficult and they can be backed into a corner. You can simply duck under that firepower if you time that right, and the controls are slightly laggy in this game. You have to wait maybe a few milliseconds or maybe half a second for that to respond, but having ducked, it is possible to score a few low blows. On this very first planet, you can see a nice purple colour scheme and also things moving around in the background, and we appear to be on a walkway having landed here, and I can't remember, I don't know the name of this first planet, but on the very first planet you can find fuel apparently, so maybe it's Sherlimer, I'm not quite sure, but it's one of those planets where you can also find a card, and those cards are simply lying about. You can pick those up and take those back to the ship to read them, and they will give us some information. I think there are 3 cards available that we can pick up on this particular level. One of those, you have to walk all the way to the end of it to pick that up, and also there is at least 1 more to be found in the underground sections. So let's walk back and maybe check those out. You can see very nice landscape and things occasionally moving as well, and that helps flash out this game. Unfortunately, there is no music, and so you have to make do with bare sound effects. In the underground section, we can find a dealer, and in the shop we can buy items by clicking on trade, and then he will offer us some money for various things and charge us some money for all these things that that guy has in store. And according to the help sheets that I read, it's possible to stock up in this particular shop with all of the best weapons and all the best upgrades and everything else for our ship, and kit those out so if your ship gets into any problems you can then repair it. And also it's worth stocking up those and taking those back to our shuttlecraft, the Altar. But unfortunately, if you try to board this thing and have the grenades in store, sometimes it can fire the grenades and you might blow up on your own grenade. You can see we're trying everything now to try to not trigger that off, but of course as soon as you push up on the controller that will fire the grenade, and now we've died again. By far the best thing to do is to dump the grenade before you get anywhere near using it, and you can see I tried to dump the grenade in the locker, but unfortunately I pushed up to access the locker and that blew up the grenade. So using that is pretty dangerous, so let's put that away in that locker. You can also see in the locker we also have a suit that we'll need to use to access planets with a dodgy atmosphere, but for now let's see what we managed to find on the surface of that thing, and by picking up that card and pushing upwards hopefully we can take off back to that mothership. Finally, our very first adventure is over, and you can see our laser is now a nice blue colour, and it was red I think on that planet surface, and automatic doors mean we can get back to this main screen, which is the screen which has all the options on it. You can see various options. One of them is to read, and in the communication tab we can read that message, and it's saying that these guys have also released Targon and a very odd selection of other games. This was developed by a French team, Silmarils, and French teams, well, you might remember Loriciel, Infogrames and Delphine of course, but there were quite a few French teams, French publishers out back in the day. At the moment we're still looking for that card, and here it is. I managed to find it. This is another one, and this basically gives us the brief for the entire story. Let's take that back to that mothership. And once you've got that card, sometimes you can be attacked, but on this very first level it's not too much of a problem because the enemies will wander behind us if we attack them. And as long as we keep on the move, we never have to return to this planet again once we've got that very first card. And maybe you don't even need to pick that up, but here we go, let's take off, hopefully with the correct card this time, and let's read that card into that central computer. Communications, let's read the magnetic card, and it will give us the first one. It will even charge us some money for doing that, 10 credits. So Colorado, Starblade, Windsurf Willy, all these games were published, maybe even coded by the same guys, and you can see to gain access to Cassandra, place a ROM into the centre of the control circuit, and it gives us an idea of where we're supposed to go. And if you did read that and you did write that down, that was Arena. So let's check out everything at this stage is 100%. State of the ship, state of the circuits, everything's fine because we haven't been attacked yet, we haven't moved anywhere. So all we need to do now is to go to the galaxy map and select our target. So we have the destination selector, it will bring up a number of systems, and in there we'll find a number of planets. So by zooming in we can check out those planets. I'm in orbit around Onkiller at the moment, and Onkiller, according to my tips, has fuel in there and also a heavy laser, which I didn't recognise and I didn't manage to pick up. But Onkiller, so we don't really need to worry about Onkiller at the moment. And Skagon, let's confirm to Skagon, and as you'll find out that's definitely the wrong thing to do, and we can move there through hyperspace or also by conventional travel. But with conventional travel you have to use manual aiming through all of the asteroid fields and also all of the enemies and space pirates as well. The aim of the game at this stage is to fly off to all of the moons and all of the planets in the game and to find out what all of them has got and to write that down. And what I would recommend at the very start of the game is to track down a place called Hirgon, and that has an extra life potion, or if you can't find that, find Shervis with an I, Shervis, that has another extra life potion. So at the very start of the game it will also depend on where you are in the galaxy as to how much fuel that takes, and you only have a certain amount of fuel. And if we really were around Onkiller right then, you can buy fuel, but I've no idea how to add that to the ship. And it will cost you 1,000 credits if you want to refuel by sending out an SOS message. And look at that, we've arrived at our destination, and this is not definitely the place that we wanted to go. This is simply a random location, Scargon. It's got one magnetic card on it according to my cheat sheet, so let's make our way down there. According to what we read, it's an oxygen planet, so we don't need to suit up at the moment. So let's get down there and let's check that place out. All of these locations will be coloured extensively differently, but this is coloured purple, so it's pretty similar to the last one, only we get new enemies to fight. You can see this one's firing out lasers towards us. At the very start of the game, if you don't know where you're going and you're simply exploring these places like I'm doing at the moment, for nothing it seems, then you'll have to put up with certain amounts of damage, and then once you've figured out the game, you can see the damage takes a massive beating on levels like this. And then once you've worked out the game, you can then march straight through to where we need to go. At this stage, every single thing will kill us, and I think these things are actually the shops in this game where we can go underground and again trade items with that trader. And you can see he's all networked up there with, it looks like Commodore Pets on the desk, or maybe an Apple II, not quite sure, but you can see he's all teched up with the latest spec. So you can see I can buy various things, and I'm not quite sure, but it looks like there are various cards on offer. Those are the things that I've picked up, and all this guy has on offer are spare parts for our spaceship, and I can actually find the interact button. There's usually a trade option here. I can't find the sweet spot for that, so I can't actually trade with this guy. Maybe I'm supposed to be standing in front of one of these computers. Let's check out the other computer. Does that work? And no, we can't trade with this guy, so no idea. According to the cheat sheet, again, there's only one card on this planet surface that we don't actually need, and so it's great graphical detail at this point, but I can't actually interact with this guy, so maybe that's a giveaway that this is a dead end and it's a planet that we didn't actually need to go to after all. So let's get bored of that. Let's move back to the ship again. Let's try to find a better planet, hopefully with something more on it that we can explore so we can get somewhere in this game. Hopefully it doesn't take long to find our way back to the ship from here, but left and right it's definitely possible to do that, and I'm hoping that I'm moving in the right direction. That's a dead end, and I can move down, I can move up, but hopefully if I move left, hopefully this is where I've parked the ship, and it's great to take off on that and return back to our mothership at any point. So that being a waste of time, I didn't appear to find the card, and that is buried in the undergrowth somewhere. I didn't appear to find that, and certainly didn't find any extra lives either. So we didn't get to Haragon for that, and that's definitely important, or Service, whatever that is. But we can now select to read whatever that is, and let's check it out. That's what we've read already, and these are some coordinates apparently. So on the screen now you can see the cheat sheet. This is what we're supposed to do. So you can see Tisron is the place that we're supposed to get to next. Let's return to that galaxy map and let's see if we can find it. Let's confirm that. Look at that, it says low oxygen. That means we're going to have to be mindful of that when we land. And if we travel via hyperspace, that will consume a lot more fuel. But you won't have any enemies either. We now have 50% fuel left in the tank, so I should have really been buying some in the shop, but I didn't think of doing that because, well, we have some credit, and at least enough for the first emergency, and so at the moment let's go back to our locker and fish out our survival suit, and then hopefully we can wear that on the planet surface, and I don't think that's got oxygen associated with that. And you can see our power bar is all the way up to the top at the moment, so you can see maybe this is another retry of the game, and certainly if you can go and get the missions done early, it means you don't have to explore planets unnecessarily. And now, at this stage, every time we land it will ask us for an identity check, and this is fire. This is the English version, the English crack of the game I'm playing at the moment, but I can only find the French version of the manual as a PDF. So I had to find that page in the French manual and translate that into English, and it was talking about press the fire button on the joystick, so it would have been joystick or fire or button in this case, so I've managed to work that out. It was fire. So if you get this far in the English version, I'll have to type that in. I'm not sure whether that's random or whether it's the same every time, but if you fish out the French manual and translate that, hopefully that's an option. So we're now on this surface and we're supposed to be picking up a bomb. And if you go the wrong way, if you walk any further on the screen, you'll get blown up by that bomb. What we're supposed to do is go underground, and if we go behind the bomb and we don't provoke it, then hopefully we can pick that up without getting blown up, and that's how you pick up this bomb. It's kind of a remote droid, and we'll need that for the mission a bit later on. And you can see, yes, oxygen is in the bottom right corner, so that is depleting. So let's pick up the bomb, and from now maybe we can do some trading as well if you want to earn some cash. Not that I know how much cash I've got in this game, but we can do that. But you can see the oxygen depleting. Now let's return to the ship, and as far as I know, the oxygen will go all the way back up as soon as we return to the mothership, and that means we don't have to worry about charging that up for the rest of this game. Other planets to avoid include Kill Run, which only has one magnetic card in there, so there's no point going there. And a few places have black markets as well. We can trade on the black market, and a few places have fuel as well. And if you're looking for Sherlimer or Skaver, they've got fuel that you can pick up, and Shelter as well also has the fuel. So let's dump our spacesuit and head back. And we've now got the remote bomb now, so let's continue with the mission and select our next destination. We have to use the remote bomb on a certain object, and let's see if we can find where we're supposed to go on that galaxy map by having written down all these destinations and writing down the short code as to where they are. So let's hopefully skip straight to it. Let's see where we are now. This is Arena. This is what the message spoke about. The very first message that we picked up is oxygen. And can we travel via hyperspace? No, we don't have enough fuel. So alright then, let's go via conventional travel, and let's get ready. Let's select the firing. That's the fourth option, the fire systems, and we have 4 options on the computer. And one of those is the data terminal, the computer system, the plotting device, and then the firing. So you can see at this point nothing is firing towards us. We don't have to maneuver around anything, but there will be space mines on some of these destinations and all kinds of things. So if the destination is clear of enemies, it can be pretty safe, and it can also save fuel as well. And you'll have to figure that out and plot those out in advance. But look at that. We've now wandered into, looks like, a minefield. Starblade was coded by Michael Pernod, and he also created Targon in 1989, which was a pretty similar game of walking around, and that was inspired by various Arnold Schwarzenegger ancient movies, of course. Targon, and from there he moved on to Crystals of Arborea in 1990, which I've never heard of, and then Bunny Bricks in 1992, and you might remember Boston Bomb Club as well, appeared in 1991. You can see we've only got 20% fuel left at the moment, and that's bad news, and we're trying to get there by conventional travel. I think if you have enough fuel left, you can stop and then boost the rest of your way in the hyperspace mode, and by wasting your fuel like that, you can then refuel once you get to your destination in safety without being attacked. You can see shield off at the bottom of the screen. I've no idea how to activate that. and I think that's broken from the start of the game, and maybe you have to activate that somehow, not quite sure, but for the moment we've reached our destination. So Michael Pernod went on to the Ishar series in 1992, and Ishar 2 in 93, Ishar 3 in 1994. So that's a massive heritage of these types of games, and really adventure games in space with lightsabers and things like that, and it's kind of a love it or hate it kind of a thing. So this has got RPG elements in there. You can see we're checking out all those stats and systems to make sure that everything is in tip-top condition, and if it isn't, unfortunately you'll have to go to various control panels around the ship and access panels, and they are full of circuitry, and you're supposed to work out what that does and what's broken in it, and you're supposed to go around to all these access panels and electrical panels and fix the circuitry in each one, and to get that and pick that up and replace that with spare parts if it breaks. And if things aren't 100%, you'll have to go down to the engine room and do a pretty similar thing of replacing spare parts. But I don't know anything about that. All I do is follow the walkthrough. So let's fast forward through this. Let's get to Arena, where we can find some fuel and also a big droid. On Arena we'll find another copper graded landscape and also another type of enemy, which is probably inspired by some Star Wars thing, and also you'll find ice planets a bit later on, like Andromeda. Like Andromeda, where you'll have to go to pick up a very big laser, and that's got aliens there, like the HR Giga aliens, but we won't be able to get that far in this particular playthrough. So we've landed on this planet, we've got that remote droid, and so yes, you can see we can pick up some circuits of various descriptions and some chips as well, some ROM chips that fit into them. I've no idea how that works, and maybe that's all listed in the manual. The graphics were created by Pascal Einsweiler, and he created most of the games that I've already talked about, Targon and Crystals of Aboria and in the Ishar series, and also went on to Robinson's Requiem, which almost got reviewed a few seasons ago in 1994, and also Transarctica in 1995. We've managed to find the big monster on this level that requires the bomb, and what you have to do is to drop that but not duck straight away under its firepower, otherwise what will happen is you'll pick up the robot all over again, and that's not very good news because you really want to drop that robot, and picking it up straight away means you'll probably get killed. So that's just what I've done again, so we're going to have to time our shots and we're going to have to walk forward and try to drop that thing again, because if we stand up we'll get killed. That gives us the special ROM chip, which the message at the very start of the game told us about. That's that ROM, and we're supposed to insert that somewhere, and well, we're on Arena at the moment. I think this is where the message told us to go to get that ROM. We've now got it, so let's check out another ET character, ET Phone Home. Well, I don't want to sell the ROM, and we can trade the ROM if we really want to do that. I don't want to do that. Let's click on trade and let's see what they've got. Lots of chips, wonderful, and they all each have their price and registration number as well. I'm not too fussed about that. We've blown up the big robot, we've got the ROM. So that means that hopefully we can return back to that mothership. This is definitely a trial and error game, and writing down what you've discovered so far about the various planets and the quick ways to get between each one, and hopefully the safest way. Let's look at our cheat sheets. So we've been to Arena, so Skeevis is the next one to get the Cassandra code, and then Skaver is the one that we need to get to after that. Let's check out our galaxy map. This is Skeevis. I've already written the coordinates down in that cheat sheet. So it's maybe 511 means it's the 5th planet in one system and the 1st planet in that system. So let's go back to the manual mode and let's see if we can target some more things determined to destroy our ship. At the moment I'm supposed to be finding the wizard, and the wizard will give us the next part of our quest, and the wizard, unfortunately, or the magician, is hidden away on Skaver. So when we get to Skaver, it's going to take us some time wandering around to find him. Most of the magazines didn't particularly like this game. Amiga Force awarded it 23%, the One gave it 42%, Lemon Amiga is currently 56%, Amiga Power is 58%, Amiga Joker even gave this 63%, Amiga Action forked out 66% for this, Amiga Format awarded it 67%, the Games Machine stepped even higher with 68%, and Su Amiga gave this the highest score with 77%. If you get blown up in space, then it's another game over. All that means this gets an average score of 5.5 out of 10. At the moment I'm sending out an SOS call, and if you can hang around a planet without being attacked, you can see we've arrived at the planet. And what does that mean? Well, we're going to have to hang around, unfortunately, and we've just got a message. I think we can check out that message, and that message will give us confirmation that that request has been sent, and then we'll have to confirm that message. And having confirmed that, that means that a craft will travel for a total of 1,000 credits, and it will stop to refuel us wherever we are in that game. While we're waiting for that to happen, let's explore some more of the ship, because this ship is huge and it will take some time to explore all of it. And you can see on the floor M on the bottom and S. S is for stores. So let's walk into those stores, and in the storeroom obviously you can store things, and you can actually transfer materials between the altar ship, that's our shuttle ship, and the main ship, and we compile lots of things according to the manual into the altar, and that means that trading is a lot easier. It means that we don't have to fill our pockets up every time. At the moment our ship's taking a huge battering, but before we move any further we've got the fuel hopefully to get to our destination, and having refueled finally, it means that we can now jet there using hyperspeed. So our next destination is Skeevis. It's oxygen and the soil is silicate polymer, and so everything's on the top level, and the resources are computers. So if you take maybe grain and water there, they will be worth a lot, and if you buy computers and robots from here, computer parts, maybe they will be fairly cheap. So scaver, oxygen, and soil is vegetation. And so technological level, it says average, even though it's pretty low technological level. Let's use the hyperspace to get there this time, so we don't damage the ship anymore. And now we can get down and explore that surface. Starblade is a mixed bag, unfortunately. It's got some clunky elements to it, and writing down and figuring out what every single thing does and trekking around trying to repair little bits of the ship, endlessly buying little computer chips and inserting them into random things until you find out what they do and get systems working on the ship. On paper it sounds absolutely fantastic, but in practice it's pretty difficult, and it gets easier if you can recharge your power, if you can find some power, if you can save your power and go straight towards the objectives. That means you should have plenty of power by now. But if you can go to those planets I mentioned and find the 2 power-ups, the 2 life support vessels, then you can drink that medicine just when you need it, particularly on this planet, and that means you can get power back. That means you can continue to the second half of the game. So the first half of the game is almost as far as we're going to get. We're going to get as far as the wizard, who gives us our next mission. And we need, from the wizard, we need to find the wizard's parchment. And then after that we need to go all the way through to Endroma to get a big laser gun. And then Cassandra to kill the final bad guy. So if you know how to complete this, it's not too difficult. The hardest part, of course, is exploring all these things and trying to figure all these things out. So I've wandered into a shop at the moment. This is a dead end. So all that we need to worry about around here is the wizard, and of course check out the undergrowth in case we see any cards which are well hidden on this level. And all these flying creatures, make sure that we take plenty of damage. I think Starblade has character and it's got charm, and that fighting action could have been a bit less clunky and a lot less trial and error when you're trying to figure out this game. Having figured it out or having got the cheat sheet makes it a lot more fun, because you can challenge yourself to get far with it, and as long as you find those life potions, hopefully you can get far. At the moment I'm completely lost, it looks like, and definitely getting completely lost in this level is possible, but let's skip forward to where I found that wizard. I did find it. After switching the recorder off and going back and looking around and around, you can see my energy is bottoming out. So, single-brained one, I am sad. My book of spells has been stolen by a humanoid. And so get to Xylogna, or whatever that said. Xylogna, the thief of the magician's parchment, is there. So find the magician's parchment. It's the 5th system, the 2nd subsystem, and then the 2nd planet in there, 522. So hopefully that's our next destination. Unfortunately we're not going to get there on this playthrough. So thank you for watching my very first sight of this game, as well as trying to find my way through this with the long play. This is the very first try, and this is as far as I got with it. So thank you for viewing, and I hope to see you again in another play guide at some point, and hopefully it will be a bit easier to get through than this. Thank you very much. thank you once again David Sapphire for recommending this game and for sponsoring this review.